Indeed. And greetings unto you, a beloved and holy friend. Thank you so much for joining me again. Another day, another moment, another opportunity for us to compete with a worthy opponent, right? At least that's the way I try to see it and the way I'm going to try and think about it. This genuine understanding that the only person that is going to be a worthy opponent is you. Is you to yourself, right? There's no use competing with anyone else because that would be an unfair fight, right? And I hope this is translating in the way I feel it in my heart. But yeah, I feel every single one of us are on our on our own journey in that way, and it's so easy for me at least to start comparing myself to the success of others, to the things others have done, to the amount of work they do, right? Instead of comparing myself to myself and how much I have done up until this point, how I've changed, how what I believe has changed, what I want to do has changed. So, yeah, I feel like this could be a fun topic to kind of explore with one another. How are you, dear friend? How's life treating you? It's nice having you here, Joy Vive and Shannon. Sam's here too. So much love is being shared. Thank you for saying hi to one another. We'll read something worth saying. It's a bug, Pippi. It's a bug. I think it's an arthropod type. It's one of these Dyson Puerta. Let's see if it's going to become a little bit active. You want to move, little dude? I'll hold on to him until he starts moving. Oh man, I felt I lost my thing worth saying. It was such a good one. It felt very fitting to the stream topic. What you value today will show itself to you tomorrow. What's the thing we're saying? This is possible. Join with me in the silent place of the heart, a place your body cannot take you. This is possible by closing the eyes and releasing the world. Really touching on what it means to compete with ourselves. Okay, it's gonna start moving soon. Watch, watch, watch. This is a small one. Such cool dudes. Okay, I'm gonna put him down. Oops, sorry, dude. He has an exoskeleton. He's fine. What the heck is that? Kill it! Where's your fire stick? No, the stronger lolos are chill. They don't need to get fire stick. Only ticks, mosquitoes, and fleas. Not flies. The flies are pretty okay with me these days as well. Actually, the fleas. I got flea bitten again today. The place I do yoga is also the place where the animals like to hang out. So it's just there's so many fleas. And then I'll be in the middle of like yoga poses, and then I look and I feel like something is walking on my arm, and then I look down and I see a flea or a tick or something. And I'm like, oh, competing with myself, right? Think about that. That the creatures, the insects all around, especially the ones that try to eat you, is you, and they're trying to eat you too. It's been a trip for me today at least. This understanding that ultimately we are not separate. We are not separate from anything, especially the parts of ourselves which we would like to consider ourselves separate from. The darkness, the parts of us that has been hurt, the parts of us that has hurt, the parts of us that live in the shadows, right? really kind of coming to an understanding that we're all of these things at the same time. Are we competing with ourselves? Why are we competing with ourselves? And if we're going to be competing with ourselves, how can we make it more fair? How can we bring ourselves more calm in the competition? How can we lower some stakes and heighten others? I feel like one of the stakes I'd like to heighten is the stakes of what it means to be living a good life, right? Like I feel like those stakes have to increase, and then the stakes of considering ourselves as failures needs to decrease, right? At least there's been a trip for me within the content creation sphere. I had a conversation with Kate today, and she also kind of echoed the things I already know what I'm supposed to be doing, right? In quotation marks, the videos I need to be posting, the shorts I need to be making, the money I need to be making, right? And she was like, she really shared something beautiful that goes, it's not evil to make a living or something like that. It's not something I need to be scared of. Making a living is okay as well. It's just about how we go about making that living, right? How do we compete with this system that is our society? How do we compete for attention? How do we compete for the resources that are out there? And how do we do all of these things in a way where we'll keep honoring ourselves and one another? Realizing that even though there might be, in some aspects, a competition for attention happening right now, that we are competing with ourselves, right? I am competing with myself. Like this topic took me way deeper than I was supposed to go already. I was kind of just tripping out about today's topic in the aspect of I shouldn't compare myself to others, right? Because the only person that would be fair for me to fight with, to push myself against, is myself. Like I'm the only opponent that will be fair for me to fight on a day-to-day level. But now my mind is going to the extreme of thinking about us in this aspect of the internet: attention, capital. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of zero sum happening still. And it's still happening. It's going to probably continue happening. Zero sum does kind of discourage me. I would like to think that instead of competing for the same piece of pie, Pippi, it's okay. It's okay. Leave the Shongololo alone. Leave the Shongololo. Instead of competing for the same pie, how do we make more pie? Right? That I don't have to compete with anyone if I create something unique, right? And then there comes up the question of how do we create something unique at all? Is it even possible creating anything unique? Or is everything ultimately a remixing of everything else? At least that's the way I've tried been reminding myself I'm at a separate from me. Yes, but also no. Also no. Like even on a DNA level, we share a lot of our DNA with fleas. It's kind of trippy. Would you rather fight one horse-sized you or 100 duck-sized yous? Like without a doubt, a horse-sized me. I think that would be easy. Fighting 100 ducks the size of me, I'll get mangled. Oh goodness. I'm just imagining all of the YouTube videos I've seen of ducks like eating things, and they do like this, right? and I just see myself in the beaks of these me-sized ducks. There's a spider on me, getting mangled by these ducks. What are you doing, dude? He really looks like he has a mission. He's so tiny. Oh, he's flying right now. I think he jumped, but he's still anchored to my hand. We'll hook you to the grass, I guess. 100 ducks. I am the duck father. Yeah, and instead of fighting them, you'll probably manage to wrangle them and get them to be your duck army. Suddenly, you become the most powerful being on the earth. Good freezing cold morning to all of you flash vehicles. I'm sorry that it's freezing, dude. It's been raining since last night. It was raining this morning as well. I thought to myself that I would be bummed out if it was still raining by the time I wanted to start streaming and do my yoga. And then throughout the day, it stopped raining. And I could be super grateful for that. It is extremely humid. It's still warm, but it feels nice and calm. Going to be 20 minus 20 Fahrenheit tonight. Hell no, ducks are jerks. Hey Google, what is minus 20 Fahrenheit in Celsius? What the what the hell? Minus 28, minus almost minus 29 degrees Celsius. Hey Duck Dad, have you considered moving? Fuck, bro. Oh my goodness, I've never experienced anything below -5. Hey Google, what is -5 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? Yeah, the coldest I've ever experienced is 23 Fahrenheit. Not a chance. Oh, no. That's not okay. I can't even imagine. It's been nearly 48 hours since I've been here, and boy, have I missed you. Really, Joel? I'm tripping out about that, actually. Missed you too, Jovan. Thank you for being here in this moment with us. I feel for some reason like I'm having a hard time saying words. I'm having a little bit of a hard time saying words. And I'm trying to think of it from this perspective of competing with myself, right? Because unfortunately, I'm painfully aware that I'm doing this every. There we go. Did it for a second. Our internet has been a little bit of trouble. It really makes me angry, right? I'm paying for a service, really paying for a service, and they're like, "Yeah, what can we do? Sorry about that." I'm not asking for sorry, so I'm asking for solutions. I don't need to be apologized to. I need the problems fixed. At least it's fixed right now, right? Reminding myself, grateful. I'm so grateful. Anyway, this metric, this trip of comparing myself to myself day by day by day by day, you know, how many friends are choosing to show up? Yeah, it's live again. Yeah. You know what's weird? I felt so good the whole day. Really good. High energy, like I was capable of saying all of the things. And then I come and sit in the stream, and then we start the topic of comparing oneself to oneself. And then unfortunately, that starts happening. It instantly started happening. I think something that I have to keep reminding myself of is how we keep changing, right? How what we consider success changes, at least to some extreme changes. But the metric that I've tried to measure myself with when it comes to success is just the ability to continue doing what it is I'm doing, right? Like the opportunity to be able to be here in this moment at all, I should see as my success, right? Because that's what I'm competing against. I am competing against my whole life where I didn't show up for something. And now, on a day to day level, I'm competing against that version of myself to show up for something. As a step back, looking out the outside in, right? But, and this is the caveat that comes along with it. Unfortunately, I can't help but compare myself to where I've been, right? Where we were yesterday, how I felt yesterday, how easily things came to me, how quickly we got to certain points, certain depth, certain understandings. You know, and I do believe I'm growing. I do believe that. But I still I still have a hard time, right? The imposter syndrome. Where even though I do believe I understand at least, oh man, there is poop on my bottle now. Thank you, Peppy, for your presence. I'll just not touch the poop part. I'm totally gonna exactly remember where the poop was. I'm gonna only hold on to this side of the comparing. Yes, compare. Compete. Oh, compete with yourself. How can I be more accepting? Okay. Take a breath. Bro, your reaction is the same we ever feel. Why do we live in a place where the air hurts our face? You know what to do, dog. Get the Swiss Miss and the Disney movie out. My coldest happened 3 years ago, minus 40, 56 Fahrenheit. Hey, Google, what is minus 56 Fahrenheit in Celsius? Hell nah. Oh, hell nah. No. That's not okay, dude. Like, I would just die. I guess people actually do actually die, right? Oh, goodness. I cannot even, like, my brain literally does not have the metric to even consider what that number means. It's just like, no. Mm-mm-mm. No, hell nah. No, say no. That's not okay. No, nothing about that is okay. Sam, she's going to grandma's. I have to work outside today. It broke. It's fixed again. I hope it stays at least for a little bit. Where all the weather is happening outside, where all the weather, Sam. I love that. Oh goodness, the outside. What's up? Ryan is here too. You actually, Kate asked about you today, Ryan. She was sending you love, man. What's up, man? Balancing that throat chakra. I told Kayana last night I've got to stop rating each interaction with humans. I sort of give myself a grade and it's not healthy. Me too. I also do that, Jovan, where I'm like, oh yeah, you fucking suck. Oh, those people are probably, talking about how weird you are and how they, never want to see you again because of how weird you just was. And I was like, wait a second. Am I tripping myself out right now? Probably. Probably. There is poop on my bottle now. Oh man. There's uh, competing with myself, even as the literal wet pieces of poop that Pippi is dropping on the grass, close to me. Social anxiety, Joe. All of us probably deal with that. No. I feel like I just clicked on the perfect moment. I'm happy to have you here, Sena. It's always nice having you, friend. My eyelids froze together on the way to the mailbox and back. I don't know why, but for some reason this is making me angry. It's causing me some sort of response of like, what the do you have to keep living there like that? I guess you have, land. You're growing things right now. So that probably helps. But hot damn, dude. Don't you want to come and live in South Africa? Sure, it gets a little bit hotter here. All right. I get sweaty sometimes, but I've never had my eyelids get frozen together, you know? That's never something that's happened to me. I've wanted to get naked with the amount of heat that's happening around me, but I can, wet my scarf and then it feels kind of nice again. Freezing eyelids together. What the fuck? Bro? That's too much for me right now. Oh, oh, Shan, how are you, love? Thank you for asking, Sana. It's nice having you. It's cold enough to do the noodle trick. The noodle trick. I don't know what the noodle trick is. Yeah, Joe. Unfortunately, I do. I cringe my way through a lot of interactions with other people. I have never not felt that way, unfortunately. At least that's what I believe, right? Weirdly enough, most of my experiences of other people feels a little bit cringeworthy. And it's probably just because of my own self-awareness, right? I think about it way too much, in excess, in fact, because I try to imagine what is being perceived, right? Because I'm always trying to share some sort of set of information. And no matter what we share, it is still going to be an approximation, right? You're going to share a fraction of the fractal that is happening inside you at this point. And there is a whole infinity of stuff that you've been through, the relationships you've had, the foods that you've eaten, the jobs that you've worked, the things that you've experienced, the people that you've met, etc., 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 influencing the exact words you're choosing to say right now. Something that really came through to me as a truth, as an understanding, is this conversation I had with my dad, where he looks at me and tells me, I do not understand your worldview. And in that moment, like it arose like a bubble coming to the surface. I'm like, Dad, on a very visceral and real level, I have viewed a different world to you, right? I've literally seen a different world. Sure, we live in the same world, but the world I've seen, the way I view the world, is differently. Like literally, I'm seeing it from a different perspective. And that's okay. In fact, it's beautiful, I believe. So I feel it really is this competing thing, right? Realize that you're not competing against this person to have the best conversation, but you're competing with yourself to not trip yourself out. Like you can get better at that as well. Letting go of the self consciousness, not letting go of the self awareness, but the self consciousness. Over analyzing, rating, as you beautifully said, Jovan, rating ourselves, giving ourselves a score. Like, yeah, that was like a 6 interaction, if you will. Fortunately, do bro, your reactions to the cold fill me with warmth. Oh, I cannot, dude. I like legitimately, my brain is like, no. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe that's why some people want global warming, dude. Like this, unironically, some people revel. Russia, for example, Russia wants global warming. They're like, yes, please, global warm. It would be great if things were warmer here, you know. And imagine spending months at a time in temperatures that is like minus 30. I cannot imagine why. I cannot imagine someone stopping me from excessively drinking, right? And I don't to heat your face up, I'm guessing. I'm happy that my reactions I can use some warmth, though, friend. I'm okay. Say, had a bit of a rough morning, but I'm okay now. Thank you for asking. How have you been, friend? Thank you for telling, Shan. I'm happy to hear you're feeling a little bit better. The pure reaction to the brutality of the Midwest winter gives me joy. I'm tripping out. And you tripping out. Is V-Slag here too? She is. That's nice. It's nice having you, friend. How are you doing? Have you been competing with yourself, V-Slag? What parts of yourself have you been competing with? I've been competing with myself on an artistic level where I feel I want to make more and better art every single day. I've been competing with myself on a content creation level where I feel I should be making more content. I've been competing with myself on a spiritual level where I feel I need to be better, more aware, more compassionate, more present. I've been competing with myself on an egoic level, specifically on the egoic level where it's like the version of me that is selfless, egoless, is competing with the version of me that is egoic, which is a little bit of a paradox. And yet, something you probably understand, right? I've been competing with my self perception, where I've been telling myself a story that is a little bit more humble, I should say. Hey, daddy, this seems spiritual. It might be, you know. Are you feeling spiritualized or something? Getting so spiritualized right now. Sending you love, friend. It's nice having you here. Yeah, competing so much of ourselves. Today's stream topic, if you're curious, daddy, is specifically about how we compete, right, as human beings with one another, with our environments, with our friends and family, even. And to realize that the only person that is fair when it comes to competing with is yourself, right? Nobody is going to be able to compete with you in a equal manner in the way you can compete with yourself. Like there's a wholeness in that experience. But I do feel it comes with some caveats where it can cause you a lot of internal turmoil. I've been tripping out, right? Tripping out counter going up. Specifically in this aspect of how much I should be doing, right? It's like the version of me that wants to do nothing is trying to compete with the version of me that wants to do everything. And the version of me that wants to do everything doesn't take any nonsense, right? It's kind of brutal. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, you thought though. You thought, what is that? Something just pooped bright yellow onto my tablet. Interesting. I'm not gonna eat it. What's wrong with you? uh, what? What? Mind reads? What? What? Let me see. Did I miss anything? I just woke up. I'm not competing with anything. Good. Good. I feel you're a step ahead of me, actually, in that case, V-Slag. Because I literally woke up and instantly started competing with myself. I was like, oh, yeah. You think you think you were good yesterday? Oh, let me show you. Let me show you what being good looks like. Connor's here too. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us, man. We have Sena saying, "I'm so sorry to hear that, Shanna. I'm sending you lots of love, peace, and healing." A yellow little butterfly just came and said hi to us. I'm doing good. Just been busy working, but I'm taking a week vacation and going home to San Diego in 3 weeks. That sounds nice, Sena. That sounds real nice. Have you been away from work? Or have you been away from home? Working, you say. You've been busy working, taking a week vacation and going home to San Diego in 3 weeks. Working away from home. I read this article yesterday that went something like how work from home became live at work, right? And I was like, am I living at work right now? I guess that could be a fractal that we consider. Again, the whole competing of self comes up in me, right? How the version of you that you are right now might be feeling a certain way about where you are right now. And then the version of you that you want to be is competing to be that version of itself, but is competing with who you are right now. But you have to, as this version of yourself right now, compete with who you've been so that you can be who you want to be, or something. Corey is here too. It's nice having you, dude. Wonderful electric fluid sacs. Yes. Electrons are floating through my neurons, being sent through my arms, my central nervous system, terminating, firing little muscles, causing them to contract. Yow! Stop it up! No, I'm sorry. I appreciate that, friend. I'm so excited to. I'm so excited for you to get to go home. I'm happy for you, friend. Thank you for that love, Shan. Man, there's like a lot of competing with myself happening in this moment, and I don't know if I really appreciate it that much. I'm tripping out about who I'm supposed to be, how much energy I'm supposed to have. Little yellow butterfly coming and saying hi again, right? Like it really is this trip of a self-identification problem. I don't even know if it's a problem. It's a competition. At least that's the way I'm trying to see it right now in this moment. And even though I feel it's a fair competition, I don't know if I want to be participating in this competition, at least not indefinitely, right? I don't want to feel like I have to compete. I don't want to feel, oh man, and I feel like I'm schooling myself just saying these words. Like I need to get better. I want to get better, right? I feel all of us want to get better. But I don't know if the need to get better serves us. Specifically from this perspective of as soon as you tell yourself you need to get better, in and of itself, you are telling yourself that you're not better, that you're not good, right? That there is still more to be done. Yeah? Oh, interesting. Okay. The bug is laughing at me. He's being like, hey, stupid, have you tried breathing? Have you tried realizing that you're sitting on the ground right now? Have you tried realizing that you're on a speck of mud flying through space, orbiting a massive burning ball of gas? And that massive burning ball of gas is also flying through space, orbiting a supermassive black hole in the center of a galaxy. And that supermassive black hole at the center of your galaxy is also flying through space, which is so infinite that we literally cannot see past it. I don't know if that helps, but thank you for reminding me. I think it puts maybe a little bit into perspective, the silliness of competing. And I'm in Encinitas, North Country, San Diego. There we go. Some synchronicity being shared as well. Thank you, Brother Ryan. Fruit Cup, as her first day of daycare, just went out for breakfast with Peach. She had no issues with us leaving her there. She just walked in and started playing with some toys and was like, peace. I got this. I so got this. I don't need you to have fun. I love being alive. I'm happy to hear that she doesn't have any, issues kind of like being without you friends. Just from the perspective of, you know, I think of it from this almost like mental level, right? On a level of mentality, she has had so much support, so much presence, so much love from you and Eden that your absence isn't seen as abandonment, but as an opportunity for her to experience her environment, right? At least that's the way I see it. I was thinking about the same thing in context of me going to school. Like it wasn't abandonment, it was environment, right? I was like, new space. I remember viscerally going to daycare as well as a child, and there was this part of me that felt like I had freedom to be something else. So I became some sort of demon. I remember viscerally. It wasn't necessarily a demon, but you know what? it was a demon. Very much a demon. I would get on all fours. I would make these horrific sounds, and then I would run on all fours onto the, Klimrama jungle gyms. Yes, and I remember I would either do that, or I would be mindfully walking in circles around the estate, or the gated area we were being kept inside of. Right now, thinking back to it, it's kind of like being imprisoned. But I was just exploring, and I would explore. It was like one of those fencing that was like a bar of steel, and then a bar of steel at the bottom, and then it was like a bent, like a 90-degree angle bar of steel, and it would have these little triangles, and in the gap of that little triangle, spiders and insects would kind of make themselves homes, and I would walk kind of like next to it with a little stick, and I would decimate those poor spiders' homes. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure that out. I guess I didn't have any compassion. I have experienced too much separation, I guess. Being a child. Being a child comes along with morbid curiosity. During the festival, we were tripping, and there was this part of me that was like really contemplating that childlike energy again. And I was contemplating it from this perspective of almost looking at the entirety of humanity. And I was like, yeah, humanity as a collective is innocent, but morbidly curious, right? Very much so sometimes. Heya, Mellow, Roses. It's nice having you here, friend. I don't know if you're here still, but sending you love anyway. Mm, yes, I've been to Ohio. I'm always competing with myself, especially with my younger self, because I always thought by now I'd be like an Ethiopian Oprah and be more successful and help my community. Sena, for what it's worth, friend, I consider you a massive success, right? You're here, you're present, you're loving, you have friends that know about you and care about you. I feel there's many people in our world right now who do not even have that. So thank you for sharing in the success with us. Is that a Melita? Sometimes too curious for our own good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The whole fuck around and find out energy, comes up. Hey, yo, Jovan. How are you, Han? Thank you for asking, Sena. I look forward to the version of myself that remembers to check the propane tanks before they run out. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that happens again, Shan. Like, it's sounds like it happens pretty fast, actually. What a relief. I would have been projecting some negative possibilities. Could be. Wow, Ryan, that's awesome. I live in Mira Mesa. You're not far from me. Maybe you could even, make your way there. Do some yoga one day, Sena. Breakfast with Peach sounds nice. It really does. I'm happy that you actually get to spend some time together, not having a little one to take care of. Shan, damn, I'm laughing, but so sorry that you have this. Okay, this is not even the second time. This is like the third time at this point, I believe. Corey, I can imagine feeling all turned up because of Cups growing independence, and she's like, sweet, cool toys, deuces, y'all. Like I specifically remember me being in like this. There's like daycare, and then there's kindergarten, right, which is just before primary school. I was in kindergarten as well, and in kindergarten, our 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 kindergarten had like a box full of toys, and I was viscerally fascinated with dinosaurs as a kid. So they had two of these little dinosaur plastic, figurines, and one of them was Tyrannosaurus Rex, right, with a big open mouth and teeth, and the other one was the type of dinosaur that had that bald, hard head. Hey Google, What do you call the dinosaur with a hard top of the head? So brutalized, but it's gonna give me an answer, I'm sure. Come on, give me the answer. Come on. Still in progress. No, I don't want to wait a split second. Google is like, bruh. When you almost there, it says it's not that massive of a ask, is it? There we go. Oh my goodness, how am I supposed to say that word? These people, why? Why dinosaur peoples is a worm doing a Spider-Man again? Spider worm, a spider worm. It's called Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus. How am I supposed to say that? Oh goodness, it's like pack, and then it's like HYCE. Patchy, Pachise, and then it's a PH, like a F sound, right? Pachycephalosaurus. Oh my goodness, my brain is getting melted trying to read this word. Maybe that's why I never remembered the name of it as a kid. I could be like, yes, T-Rex. I know T-Rex. Everybody knows T-Rex. T-Rex is easy to remember. Freaking, why not just call it hardhead dinosaur? I'd be like, easy peasy. I can remember hardhead dinosaur. Yeah, so anyway, off tangent. There was this one with a hard head, and then the other one was a T-Rex. And depending on who was the fastest, right, as the recess bell rang, if you could get to the toy box first, you could get to play with the T-Rex. So it would be this visceral sprinting as soon as I get out of the classroom, during recess towards that toy box so that I can get the T-Rex. And more often than not, because of the proximity of classes, right, to the box, another kid would actually get the T-Rex, and I would play with the hardhead dinosaur, and I'd be looking at the other kid playing with the T-Rex, hating him. So much hatred. Fuck you so much. Oh goodness. Being a kid, competing, right? We are talking about competing, so I feel like it is a worthy tangent. Corey, I can imagine feeling the autonomy, the toys. I'm grateful to still have the kerosene heater my dad brought over when we had that huge storm last month. I'm just not a fan of the smell. I'm happy that you at least have some heat, to keep you warm right now, Shan. I'm guessing that's also why you didn't wake up feeling that great. Kind of waking up realizing that the propane is done again must suck ass. I've never had an experience like that. Like, it gets cold here, but it gets cold to the point where you just use 2 blankets. Like, that's the extent of the cold. Hello, kitty. I think Roxy might be pregnant. Maybe. I don't know if she is. I hope not. Sana, I'm well. Had an eventful weekend. Met my favorite comedian and hang out with my sister and my best friend. Felt like a vacation. How about you, Fran? That sounds nice, actually. Jovan, having a mini vacation. Today, the event promoter called me. That was like running the Twilight that we went to, that festival we went to, asking me, giving me first dibs on chalets. And I was like, oh, that's nice, friend. But I'm gonna have to double down and work until I can afford to go on a vacation again. But I really did appreciate him reaching out to me. And I felt that energy, right? That you can kind of have a vacation, even if it's just a weekend. That's my water, kitty. That's my water. She's been like walking circles around me. Yeah? Yeah, kitty. I see you. You are duly noted. I promise. Lurker today. It's okay, Connor. But my favorite question my friends asked me when we tripped was what happened before the Big Bang? What could you say, friends? I believe it is a ceaseless contraction and explosion. Lindsay and Malak, thank you for joining me, friend. You're probably not here anymore, but sending you love anyway. I just think of it as a sine wave, dude, right? Or an infinity symbol flowing in and out of itself. So the Big Bang is just the whoop of that, right? So it's like pshim shwam, pshim shwam, pshim shwam. The seesawing into infinity. My favorite quote in context of that is, we are man, can't remember the line I said. We are in this infinite duality, sharing in unity infinitely. Something like that. Right? That the duality of the Big Bang and then what came before the Big Bang is still a duality, right? Oh, Isaac, it's been a while, friend. It's nice having you here, dude. Sending you love, man. We're talking about the Big Bang right now. What do you think happened before the Big Bang, brother Isaac? You do have some wisdom, right? Maybe you could tell us as well. Connor, sometimes I like to think it adheres to the Futurama model where the universe expands and experiences heat death, then restarts all over again into infinity. I believe the same, Sam. That sounds like so much fun. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm doing excellent now that I'm here with you guys. We like having you here as well, Sena. What a trip. This stream has been hard for me. I don't know why. I feel it's the competing. Like I'm noticing how all the versions of myself are competing at the same time. A few days ago, Jovan commented on stream number 34, and I spent some time watching myself on day 34. And it looks like I'm stiff, like I'm rigid. So I speak so fast as well. Kind of like came as a deep sense of awareness that we have changed, right? That I am competing with myself and I am getting better, whatever that's supposed to mean. And that it is a process and that we are in it collectively. Be calm with yourself, if you will. Realize that you're not losing just because you're not always in the upswing, right? From this perspective of a duality and infinity ceaselessly, going. Sometimes you're going to be in the bottom of the swing, sometimes you're going to be above the swing. Bottom, above, bottom, above, bottom, above. I think what happened before the Big Bang is the exact same that happened that fraction of a moment before we awake from a deep sleep, right? I tried to share that understanding of Dad as well when he was in stream with us, right? That the same way there is technically no world when you go to sleep, at least not for you, at least not the world you experience, right? Because the world you call the world is your world, right? With every single moment, every single morsel of food, bit of information, experience you've had informing what you consider the world. And then when you go to sleep, that world ceases to exist, at least temporarily, and that you are ultimately competing. I'm thinking specifically about how that competition can be seen as competing to make it better, to make this experience a more and more loving one, at least for ourselves. We talk about making the world a better place a lot in this stream, right? And I feel it does start with ourselves. Like where you are, practice where you're going as an understanding that the world we want to live in is our world, right? So make your world a good one. I missed you all dearly, been mentally and emotionally struggling against the flow, but overall, had a great weekend. Happy to be showing up again. Head up instead of head down. But this weekend was full of good times. Stayed up until like 3 a.m. randomly with one of our neighbors over drinking and playing cards, which was a gem. That sounds nice, actually, dude. Just spending some time in communion, right? Conversation, play, if you will. Human beings like to play. And we have figured out how to be very competitive in our play as well. A few days ago, like almost a week ago now, I had a conversation with Vessel about the games we choose to play. Vessel is more a first-person shooter type of player right now. And when I was his age, I played Dota, right? And they're pretty different. And I remember how toxic I could be playing Dota because of the amount of competitive energy, because you are actively in Dota competing with yourself as well to become a better and better player, to become more and more skilled, better and better at getting last hits. Some of your friends might know what that means. Getting better at, executing, pushing your buttons, ultimately. And sometimes other people aren't as competitive with themselves, so they just don't play as well, and then you have a bad experience because of that, and then it can ruin your time playing the game. Where competitive shooters are a little bit more similar and fractal. Hello, kitty. Like, you're not going to have that different of a gaming experience from moment to moment. You're going to be a person with a gun running around shooting things, right? That's going to stay the same. Where with Dota, you can play as literally 115 different Euros. And depending on what Euro you play as, you'll have a different experience. Some Euros have to be in the background. Kitsy, I appreciate your lovin's, but you're in my space, yo. You're very much in my space right now. Thank you. Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is how we play games, right, can be competitive. And some people like to compete in different ways. And to think of play as play ultimately instead of just competing. Because playing cards, I don't know what card game you played, but there probably was some sort of element of competition in that, right? And if you were completely attached to the egoic perspective of wanting to win as a self, right? Instead of realizing you're competing with yourself, it can cause the whole game to become ruined, if you will. Whoa, 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 whoa. And seeing some family perform a music gig was a great time. I've personally felt a bit down in the dumps, but again, I think resisting some change and effort, yeah. But I'm here for here to play today. Thank you, dude. The resisting the change is a big one. Hello, puppy. Hello, you silly girl. Hello, mush mush. I'm not allergic to Pippi. That's why. Mush mush. I'm gonna mush 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 mush. Mush 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 mush. Mush 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 mush. Mush mush. You silly girl. I took a heroic amount of edibles over the last 40 hours. So also showing up for humaning again. Ah, yes. The human being. Or not the human being. Thought I had a splinter for a second. I'm happy you were keeping your head up, Isaac. I had a great weekend. You deserve it, friend. Thank you for the love, Shan. How strange is it beholding this and very confident proclaim that such magnificence occurred by accident. Joyce, Rachel, to me, the Big Bang was the start of manifesting our reality. The Big Bang to me is like, in a beautiful way, attached to the biblical way of seeing it as well. like there was the word, right? That is manifesting in my mind. Like there was this speaking into infinity, a proclaiming, it shall be so. Like the same thing with your name, for example, right? When you say, for example, I am Meltmore, I am Meltmore, I am Meltmore. Technically, I'm competing with myself again, right? Because I am, period. And then we attach this thing, your name here, to that I am. When technically I am that I am, ultimately, right? There's no thing beyond that. And then as soon as we chose a direction, a manifestation, an idea, that became our reality, right? I am everything. And then here it is, the everything that we wanted. And it probably is differently, right? Depending on from which perspective we start. What we said we are as the infinity in the infinite multiplicity of what could be. And yet, within the infinite multiplicity of what could be, we chose to be you. Chose to be you right now. Isn't that weird? Isn't that an interesting little tidbit? And I honestly believe, and I like to share this. I believe you're wise, dear friend. I don't consider you a failure. I don't consider you a sinner. I don't consider you something or someone that needs to be saved. I consider you a divine being that from that divinity chose to incarnate, to become human, to be embodied, right? And when this body melts away, you will realize that there is still more melting to be done. That you're here for fun, right? You're here to play. And it can feel like we're competing sometimes. It does feel like we're competing sometimes, but please remember to play, friend. Remember to play. Oh, strange. So, sorry, friends. Had to stop in and grab a few things at the store. Jovan, I was a little hurt, but proud at the same time. I just waiting for them to call and say, she's climbing up the walls. Bippy and Kitty are sharing loved ones with one another. We playing some D&D, Isaac? That sounds nice, actually. Because to me, when I dream, I don't see the veils of our world, but I see beautiful orbs of light and love that created us. Yes, Aina. Hello, Kitty. I see you, friend. I see you. Pippi is like, what's happening here? I know, Pippi. It's an experience right now. I'm okay, Isaac. It's been quite a month. It's how I would sum it up. Everything is going to be okay, though. Yes, I honestly believe this year is going to be a year of significant change for all of us. All right, we're going to be expected to change in ways that we might not have anticipated, might not have wanted to, right? Maybe we've been competing with ourselves the whole time for the change that we're embracing right now. So try ultimately to see this whole process as something that you're showing up for, that you're not a victim, that you are the divinity. Kitty, invading my personal space. I feel kind of speciesist sometimes, right? That's my water. No, thank you. It's not like she has water of her own or anything. Oh, man. Competing with myself to be more accepting of the kitties. I love them so much, but from a distance, right? I had this thought today how allergies, as from an egoic perspective, caused a lot of separation between me and cats. Where because when I touch them and they get close to my face, I have a really bad time, right? My throat itches, my eyes start watering, and they become like super like little slits, right? And my nose ceaselessly runs and I sneeze over and over again. It makes me feel like I'm under attack, like being assaulted. And then she gets all up in my face like this, and I have to be like, "You're okay, oh, you're fine." Competing with that version of myself that wants to run away, that lives in fear, if you will. Isaac, sometimes it's best to let the current take you. You might just find a more peaceful place down the flow. That's beautiful, Corey. Thank you for sharing that, for encouraging that flow as well. Jovan saying, my mom cried big tears the first time I drove a car. I would be the same, Corey. Can't believe how fast she's grown. Wait, that's interesting, actually. My mom was kind of like forcing me to get a license. Like I didn't want to. From this perspective of I don't have a car, why would I want a license? And then I got a license, right? Ultimately because she really kept telling me to. And then I ended up, driving so much. I think I drove 70,000 kilometers the first year I started driving. I was working for an AV company. It was not fun. I would have to drive out to clients so many times, right? And it was, oh man, I'm tripping out. I feel like I'm almost like part of me is like traumatized of that experience. I would have to wake up between 5 and 6 a.m. so that I can get on the road, so I can be at my client's, like workplace around, 8 to 9. And then I would work until like 6 p.m. And then I would get off at 6 p.m. And then I would drive back home and I would sit in like between an hour and 2 hours worth of traffic. And then I would get home. And I would listen to audiobooks on the road. I feel like that was my saving grace. Like I would have probably properly lost my mind if I didn't have audiobooks. And it was during that time that I listened to a bunch of, Grant Cardone's books. I listened to, Robert Kiyosaki. I like so many like how to make money type of books, how to become wealthy, how to become abundant. And during that time of my life, I was working as a salesman. So I believe that there was a way for me to do that. I could become wealthy selling things, right? And then I noticed what would be expected of me, right? Like I followed the advice of these books that I was reading, and I felt like it was disingenuous. I felt like I wasn't being myself. I couldn't believe in the thing I was selling, right? I feel like that really was ultimately the problem. And now we have transitioned into me selling philosophy, right? I'm saying selling kind of liberally. Selling philosophy, selling yoga, selling art, selling dancing, selling mindfulness, selling hopefulness, right? And these things I do believe in. These things I feel if everybody bought more art, right? And not from a financial perspective, but from a, yeah, I buy that kind of perspective, right? Everybody bought more mindfulness, more yoga, more art. I do believe it could help our world, right? And that is obviously my egoic perspective. So I am competing with the old version of myself as well. Love is true. Exactly, Gary. Exactly, dude. Thank you, Brother Bear, for joining me. Joe Schmo. Cowabunga, dudes. Thank you for joining us. How are you, dude? I feel like your energy seems good. Oh, maybe the party went well yesterday, Brother Bear. How are you? How are things going? Are you competing with yourself these days? Competing with old versions of yourself? Competing with this version of yourself, with the version of yourself that you want to be in the future? Uh, and are you in awareness, in a willingness to accept that even though you are competing with yourself and that's the only fair version to compete against, are you realizing that the whole world is you and that you are ultimately competing with yourself as the world as well, right? Competing for attention, competing for resources, competing for love and affection, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. compete with yourself for all of those things, especially the resources that is your own, the love that is your own, the time, the attention that is your own, that you, right? Think about this as just a thing to be mindful of. You are literally competing with the world for the attention that is yourself, right? That if we didn't have all of this distraction, if we didn't have all of these metrics, these versions of entertainment to take our attention from us, we would only, at least, from some sort of, monk perspective, be paying attention to the self, right? Noticing how we are competing, right? At least on a type of like mental level. And now we don't have to compete with ourselves as much anymore because we can distract ourselves from that work. We can be like, yeah, all of these things that I'm thinking and that I'm trying to deal with, but I can also just watch this show and not think about it for the next 2 hours. She's growing up so well. She's a good child who was wild and carefree. Her sense of adventure and enjoyment and of exploration is so wonderfully concerning. Oh, goodness. Curiosity, dude. I feel curiosity is a beautiful thing. Open-mindedness, right? The worst habit you can form during any time of your life is closed-mindedness. All right? Think about that. That's the worst habit you could possibly form. Not smoking, not drinking, not getting angry, not competing, but being closed-minded. To believe that you know everything, right? We shared beautifully yesterday that as soon as you claim that you know everything, right, that you are right, ultimately, above everyone else, you close yourself off to knowing anything else. Realize that you're competing with that version of yourself as well, the version of yourself that wants to be right, that wants to be the one, that wants to be the savior, the Christ figure, right? We are all that. We are all that. And the ego wants to be uplifted, wants to be above everything else, wants to be the one that's most right. And the joke is, for your ego, it is right, right? Ultimately, this version of you is right for you because you chose this version of self. And to compete with the version of you that is telling you stories of limitation, of lack, of wanting for things to be differently, and acknowledge that this is the version of you you wanted to be. Pow. Who, me? The world is me? Yeah. Have you ever breathed just yourself? Right? If I throw you into the vacuum of space, you don't produce your own oxygen, water, and food, right? So the circle that is our planet encapsulates you. You are part and parcel too. And then our planet surrounds a sun, right? And without the sun, our planet wouldn't sustain life. And then our sun is floating, flying through space, orbiting a massive black hole instead of just being flung into the void of space, right? So conditional to that. And then our whole galaxy is being held in the vacuum of the larger space, right? Again, conditional. There has to be something, and there has to be the something that the something is in. You. You, it's you. So much. I'm sorry, guys. No, what are you sorry for, Joe? Nothing to worry about. Poured it out of existence for a while, but Shannon, I hope the next month is a bit more peaceful than the last. Wish for it so. Decree it, and it is so. What you decree is next month will be better than this one. And the next month after that, better still. And if it's not, we're going to keep showing up until it is better. And if it's not better, then we're not done showing up. And then if it's better, we will show up until it's not. I'm sorry. And yes, Corey, sorry, been dragging my feet on it. Was trying to see about getting an in-person one setup, possibly, but drop the ball. I'll poll interest in Discord tonight and make the moves. Did I miss something? I don't know the fractal you're talking about. Corey, have you played? Oh, the D&D. Have you played through the Curse of Strahd? I haven't either, actually. I was thinking of doing that as a good go-to since I've newer to GMing, but I really would like to homebrew one soon. I just need time to write. It is a commitment, Brother Bear. It is a commitment. Maybe, if you're going to do something like that, and this is just the content creator in me, that could be something, you could record, share with the world as well, if you would want to, right? Unfortunately, it comes along with a lot of competing because then you're going to be like, oh no, I'm recording myself. I have to be extra mindful of what I say. And then after having recorded yourself, when you do it again, you're going to want to be better. And then sometimes you'll feel like you aren't better. And then that will come with a whole, trip of its more layers. I have not played a second of D&D. So that is a no, sir. I've been trying to find some online groups, but no luck so far. Wow, it's almost like we have an online group. The biggest problem, unfortunately, with me living in South Africa is just time zones, right? And America has like a whole plethora of time zones in it as well. And then there is the converging of our infinities, our different lives, trying to find some sort of space where all of us will be free at the same time. I believe that the future we're heading into will probably have more time. So there will be time for us to play all of the D&D we could possibly want to. Perfect. I'll set us up. We'll find a party. I believe you, friend. Thank you, Isaac. I believe it will be Dalty. I'll be learning so much from you. You're like the spiritual Bill Nye, the science guy. You stop. Stop and say no. I'm not saying anything technically, right? This body is just making sounds. Like, yeah, tomorrow's topic, for example, is your job is to show up and allow. And I feel that's what I'm doing ultimately. That I'm not the one that's so wise, right? And I do believe I have a certain set of skills. I heard a beautiful analogy by Aubrey today, where he talked about the human body can be seen as a flute, right? And flutes can be made of different woods. They can have different arrangements of holes. They can have different shapes, different diameters, etc., 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 right? But ultimately, it's the same wind, the same air that's flowing through this flute, right? And the flute can make sounds, but it's the same air, the same source, the same energy that flows through that flute. So ultimately, I'm just and the air, right? The source energy that you find in this space. The what did you say? Spiritual, the spiritual night. The the learning you're finding in this space, the wisdom you're gaining is in you. I am just a mirror, right, to you, ultimately, a version of the same humanity you are, experiencing the same life that we call our own in this time that is now. And I'm trying to share the depth that I'm feeling. And the fact that you can feel anything at all says much more about you than it does about me. Thank you for seeing me, though, friend. I appreciate your love so much. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm bezumped. Bezumped up. Jacob! It's nice having you here again, Brother Bear. Sending you love. Strahd is good. Another campaign. Taper it off. Thank you, Jovan, for encouraging as well. I want to do a Bloodborne-esque campaign. Angering of the Eldritch gods. Sends an area into an endless nightmare cycle kind of thing. Would be fun to write. That sounds kind of like an adventure. And just writing anything at all, even if it's fiction, is so good for your brain, dude. Writing things down, even if it's your thoughts. I've been, keeping a journal again pretty consecutive and consistently. Like today's journal, let me read a bit of it, maybe. Felt kind of nice. I was sending Dad some lovin's. Yo. So I'll share this. I love my dad so much. He's an amazing dad. I watched October Sky. I watched October Sky yesterday. I cried. I cried so much. I saw my dad. Like I really saw my dad. Oh goodness, I saw so much of my, like the whole, his dad not being willing to show up to watch him launch his rockets. I felt that shit so much, dude, especially with these streams and my dad not being willing to show up for it. Yesterday's stream was so nice, and I ended up sending him a link to it. And I asked my dad, please, dad, watch this stream, please. And he said, he was like, Akdun. That was his words. Like literally, I sent him like multiple texts. I sent him like the screenshot of my entry about October Sky, asking him, and then he just replied, Akdun. I do, like asking him to watch it. I do watch. And then this is the piece of the entry I want to read. I want to share my work and my passion from the perspective of getting others to show up in the same way. I do not know how to encourage them more than I do right now. Telling them what to do does not work. Yet, telling them what I do, and this is specifically from my family perspective mostly, telling them what I do and the success that I do slash will find does not help either. Should I leave them alone? How can I inspire more hope in their hearts for their own journey? How can I get them to show up for themselves, for to show up for themselves? For now, I will live as an example for what is possible when you trust that love is true. Right? Like just writing these things down, I've been tripping out like a lot, so much, especially about competing, right? Because egos compete with one another. So me, I am seen as an ego by my family. And I feel like a part of me really doesn't like that because I'm not trying to be an ego. I'm trying to uplift them to do the same things that I'm doing. I honestly, seriously believe that every single one of my family create a personal brand, if you will. And I love for them to do that. But how do I encourage them? Right? And it's the same thing for you, friends. How do we encourage one another to do these things? Should I be encouraging to do these things? When we see it from an egoic perspective, it feels like the person that is encouraging us is telling us, hey, you're not doing good enough. You should be competing with me. When that's not what I'm saying. It very much is this perspective of, hey, you could do anything. Compete with yourself. See what skills you have. See the things that you like the most and realize that you are the biggest niche in the world. Literally, that the exact combination of things you love, of things you want to share with the world, the hope you have, the inspirations that come to you on a moment to moment level is divine and worthy of people's time. And I know it feels like there's so many other people out there doing the same that we get discouraged to even try to compete with this amount of, attention clamoring, to say it in, so many ways. But you are worthy, friend. You are. I promise you. So, right? Even if that's you do, write down, I love myself, right? And see if you can write something else as well. Like maybe see what is right now. What is competing for your attention in your own mind? I see we have many friends in this space right now, and I know usually we don't stay for long. So if you're here for only a moment, I want to tell you I love you. I appreciate you. You're worthy of love, of safety. I'm sending you eternal blessings. Thank you for spending even a moment with me. Let me see. Snuggled up in the purple lights, working on some boring emails while watching the gray weather. Sounds kind of nice, dude. Safety inside. Damn, dude. Hot damn. Kira Moore. Hello. It's nice seeing you, friend. Oh, I see you're on the here for the first time. And if username, like I might be able to, if I could see your Reddit username. But weird enough, Shan, he has a bunny. It looks like a demented bunny. But he has a bunny in his profile pic. And then we have Wu Tang Bunny directly below him. Kira Moore joining us here too right now. Sending you good vibes. How are you all today? I'm still here wrapped up in a blanket while it's sleet outside. Thank you for staying warm, friend. Sending you love, Jacob. Thank you for spending some time here, dude. It's nice having you. But what do you have? But you do have a very peculiar set of skills, skills you have acquired over a long life. As soon as you said set of skills, I was thinking of Taken. Yes, I have a very specific set of skills. So I will find you and I will love you. I'm sorry, I'm cringing as well. I'm competing with myself to not cringe myself out, but it doesn't work. Isaac, you like the board game Kingdom Death. I was going for Kingdom Come. Kingdom Death sounds pretty lit as well. I am also wrapped in a blanket while it's snowing outside. Nice. I'm good, Isaac. Bit cold, but good. I love that movie. Or it was uh, Duck Dad. Might have been Duck Dad who suggested it. I don't know if he's here anymore. I don't think so. But I watched October Sky. It was a beautiful movie. I'd recommend for you friends to watch it as well if you have the time. It's kind of old actually, older than me. I think that no, maybe it's a year younger than me actually. We watched it in sixth grade class. That movie, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see how a dad that completely disagrees with his son's beliefs, his son's dreams, could still support him, make sure that he succeeds, right? And I felt that energy coming from my dad, retroactively, kind of considering all of the stuff that we've been through together. I love my dad. Man, I love him. He's a cool dude. He really is. Oh, I would bet. Anyone ever watched The Legend of 1900? It's a great movie. It's about an orphan that grows up in a cruise ship and becomes a legendary piano player. That sounds amazing. Thank you for that, friend. I love you too, Joe. So much love is being shared. Love is true. Yeah, Zano. Love you, Fred. Thank you. I love that, Corey. I love that movie, Corey. Thank you, Joy V, for echoing that sentiment as well. I'm happy that there's more fractal synchronicities happening. Ooh, miracle time tonight. Thank you, Sam. You all met Slender Bunny yesterday. We did. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Can I? Let's see if I can make it a little bit larger. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit larger. Look at this bunny. That's what like the demented bunny I was talking about. That's a creepy looking bunny. But it's a bunny, of course. Like your friends might be like, what the hell are you doing, Mel? Shan's, spirit animal is the bunny. And then we had Wu Tang Bunny, Kira Moore, who's in the stream with us as well right now. Bunnies all the way down. Ooh, circle time. Thank you again. Oh my gosh, dude. October Sky. Obviously, I'm behind. It's okay, Isaac. We're here with you still, friend. Makes me cry. It's so sad. It was beautiful. I don't know if it was just sad. It was emotional. Maybe you're talking about the 1900 movie. I've seen that movie probably 5 to 6 times throughout my life and get understanding every time. What a powerful story. And a true one. That was the craziest thing to me. It is actually a true story, right? You got to see the people that the story was based off at the end of the movie, and I was like melting extra hard at that point. Passion is the ultimate form of love. Yes, maybe not ultimate, but most driving. I feel passion is the form of love that is most willing, right? It's like willing. It's like, yes, let's do this. That bunny looks like Frank. Looks like, maybe it is Frank. Frank the bunny. Looks like Jazz Jackrabbit. Definitely dating myself with that one. Speaking about movies, my favorite is The Fifth Element. I haven't seen The Fifth Element since I was like 11. I don't think I was supposed to watch that movie as an 11-year-old, but it was quite an experience. I also actually enjoyed The Fifth Element. Excellent reference, Joy V. Quick happy moment. Last week was full of constructive energy expenditure, and it felt quite depleting at times. But at the end of the week, with the busy energy that surrounds 8-year-old twins, I am at peace. Today rest. Please do. Today I'm in slow-mo regeneration mode. You deserve that too, dear friend. Take some time for yourself. Don't feel guilty for a second. Not even like a split 1 second of guilt. No. Joe, what a moment of gratitude that you're able to experience such energy and keep up that, as well as the amount of peace. How cool is being alive? Having children in your world, or being alive and then having things that are alive that you brought into life, right? That's like, please, my brain is not ready for this, bro. I was 12. That's crazy. Of course, I'm not surprised, say no. The amount of synchronicities, right? We might have even been watching it together. More synchronicities. So happy you finally have rest, Joe. So much love. Fifth Element and Dread. Man, Dread, dude. Dread was also, weirdly enough, one of my favorite movies as a kid. I don't know why. It was so dystopian and dark, but maybe it was the reflection, right? Seeing where we could go. Maybe hoping that we don't. Donnie Darko, like October Sky's actor, the main kid, is Donnie Darko's actor. And I was like, as I saw his face for the first time, Donnie Darko came up in my mind, and I was like, oh my, I love this actor. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. Donnie Darko is also one of those movies that I watched as a 12-year-old that I probably wasn't supposed to watch. I watched very questionable movies as a kid. I don't know why, right? And I went from watching questionable movies to watching questionable anime, right? Not so much the fan service anime, but the gore anime. Yeah. For some reason, that fractal, the nihilistic fractal that I used to be, was very much attracted to extreme darkness within humanity. Because I was actively competing with that version inside myself, right? I was competing with the light that was in me by exposing myself to darkness, I guess. So many Nerf bullets. I hope you have a vacuum cleaner that can like suck those things up or something. What's for breakfast? So many Nerf bullets. Jake Gallahan. Gyllenhaal? Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal is the actor's name. Thank you for letting us know, Kira Moore. That actor played an incredible version of Dredd, only one that could top Stallone, of course. Today, I'm eating raw veggies and drinking water. Please do. That sounds amazing. I like to imagine that so many Nerf bullets for breakfast. Me too. That's the same thing I did, actually. Isaac, I love that. I barely understood Donnie Darko at 17. Really? Donnie Darko made, I don't know if it made sense to me, but it made me feel things, right? I feel like, weirdly enough, that's what movies is for me more than anything. I don't necessarily need to understand, but I need to feel things. And I really did with Donnie Darko as well. Slides in, coughing. Did I make it? You are here now. Love you. Your boy has COVID. Gang, gang. Hope you get better soon, dude. Stay warm, stay healthy, drink water, eat vegetables. Sleep. Sleep. Oh, sleep enough, please. I hope you get well soon, Brother Bear. Just revealed my darkest truth. I just watched Sonic 2 last night. Have I seen Sonic 2? No, I don't think I have just yet. Is it good? I love Jim Carrey, dude. I really like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey has been, for a long time, my favorite actor. Like watching The Mask as a kid was also a visceral experience. Bro, what? For real? Has anybody watched Contact? That movie made me love science. I don't think I've watched Contact actually. Oh no, Goober. Did you kiss the Contagious? A sick band name. Kiss the Contagious. That does sound pretty sick. Kiss the Contagious. Mushy, mushy, mushy. Mushy, mushy cookies. Pippi hasn't actually gotten onto our laps in a while. It's a nice view. A suckage, Gob. Pile on blankets and play Bioshock. Poor Gobber. Thank you so much. So many people. Think about that, Gob, right? Multiple different beings scattered all over the world, thinking about you, sending you healing energies in this moment right now, dude. I'm fine, just enjoying some time off work. Yee. You get that COVID work leave. Oh goodness, when you get to the point where you kind of get excited about having COVID because you don't have to go to work. Peppy, it is cute. Sam, Infinite. Infinite is so good. Is that another movie name? I'm thinking so. Jim Carrey is amazing. He's great. And number 23, weirdly enough, I saw number 23 as a young kid as well. I think I was even younger. I think I might have been six or seven when I watched number 23. Also too much for my little kid brain. I was like, oh goodness. And now I'm very much as an adult into synchronicity. And like the number I've been seeing is 47 everywhere, 47 and 44. And it's been like a whole trip in itself. Is Pippi wearing a little scarf? This is a a little thing my sister put on her yesterday. Yeah, it has a little diamond heart on it. She's fashionable. Fashionable perpy. I've been a gypsy uncle my whole. You have a tick. No, I haven't taken it off yet. You moved your head before I could take it off. There's nothing there yet. I have to still try. Yeah, I see it, but I'll take it off later, okay? I've been a gypsy uncle my whole life. Recently, I've taken on a father role, and not just in title or obligation. My spirit has changed in so many ways, a literal transformation happening inside. It's terrifying. Competing, dude. You're competing with a version of you that used to be, right? And you're watching yourself transform, and the version of you that you used to be has to die, right? From a competitive kind of perspective. My little girl. Contact was a 1997 adaptation of the Carl Sagan book. How about that? I have missed you guys. We like having you here, gobbledygoo. We're here with you always, dude. I'm sorry, Pippi. Sorry, embrace it, Joe. Yeah, embrace the change, dude. You're gonna be fine. This is gonna be a beautiful process. I look forward to seeing you grow, actually. Transforming, man. Corey, the number 23, was one of my favorites. Favorites? You like that movie? I think I should watch it again, probably. Try and embrace the change, Joe. We're here for you anytime that you need us to hold you. This is true. The range on that man, literally. The last stream I was in was Saturday, I think. It was like, I feel unwell. Oh well, going to work. I remember. I do remember that, actually. I was proud of you. I still am. Bye-bye. Yeah, it's hot. I know. Thank you. Like, I'm very sad. Like, there's, like, sweat now. Lays on the grass. Yeah. Isn't that more comfortable? Mushy, mushy, mushy. Is that it's Scout's birthday this weekend. What are you gonna do for him, dude? Gonna get him a piece of chicken? Gonna cook him something nice? You got this. Embrace it, Joe. Pippi is just the most handsome looking dog in South Africa. She's really good looking, right? Like I'm kind of biased, but she has eyes that like stare into your soul, dude. She's so beautiful. I would pick her up and show you her eyes, but she doesn't like that. Can I pick you up for a second? I'm gonna reach for you and pick you up. Thank you. I'm gonna show our friends your eyes. Look at those eyes. Like they have like a golden hue to them. Look at how soulful she's looking into the distance. Yes, I think things. I smell. They're like gold, right? She's so beautiful. Thank you for letting me pick you up. Right, I asked her and she was like really okay with it. I'm kind of like surprised. I think she might understand me. Do you understand me, Pippi? Can you bark once? Do like one woof if you understand me. Maybe we should. Cats. I'm just reading cats. When I was a kid, I always thought Jim Carrey was my dad. I also thought Bill Murray was too. Lol, that's beautiful. I absolutely love him. His acting is great, but I love the crazy version of him where he goes on about Illuminati and other stuff. His art is good too. I love myself. I see so much of myself in Jim Carrey. It's a little bit surreal. Like Jim Carrey, walked so that all of us can run, basically, as a crazy person in this world. A manifester. I have a movie request. Watch The Abyss. I think I've seen that one as well. They're like gold. She's so pretty. Her Majesty. Her Majesty. Thank you, Pippi. I went from loving Jim Carrey to can't stand him to liking him again. I feel like he went too woke, right? Some people's perspective was he went too woke. Spheres, another great sci-fi movie from 1998, my birth year. Cute. No wonder my dad won't let me do 23andMe, lol. Jim Carrey is Canadian. Maybe it is your dad. Would be pretty cool. Susanna tunes in one day. I have news, guys. Jim Carrey is actually my dad. I think we'll all lose our minds probably. The movie Joy Vive. Zana. As long as he isn't going too hard, he's fantastic. Sometimes I feel like they turned the Jim Carrey dial up to 12, and you're like, okay, man, just a notch down. Like it's the fractal of who he's become, right? Of who he needs to be. He's competing with all versions of himself that he's been at the same time. And he's been many versions of himself, right? And they're all melting into the same being that is his persona, the outside world. So I feel it's probably like a whole trip for him to deal with as well. hmm As long as he isn't. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen that, Corey, like the one. No Real Cats. I will say I'm biased after seeing his Eggman in Sonic 2. You're biased towards liking him or disliking him? Like his leaning into his character in Eggman 2, Eggman in Sonic 2. Sphere is a terrible movie. She understands you, but she doesn't mean you're willing to listen to you. That's true. That's probably true. Like, yeah. I'm not going to let you know definitively that you can just talk to me. Then you're gonna never shut up. She's wiser than she looks. I'll literally just talk to her all day, be like, consulting her, asking her questions like a little guru. I could see that joy. It took me a few times before I enjoyed it. Cats underestimate us. They just prefer to understand us. They just prefer to ignore us. Yeah. I believe that most everything can understand us. If we speak with intent, he was such a good at Grinch. Grinch was one of my favorite movies growing up as well as a kid. His Grinch was awesome, really awesome. Meltgate! I've been talking about you a few times on stream. Brother Ryan was here as well. I sent your love to him. It's nice having you here, Ryan. We're talking about competing with ourselves. And the topic that we discussed, making more content and what we'll expect of ourselves came up as well. I'm actively competing. I did hear that Man on the Moon was his tipping point. Method acting as a comedian with mental health issues. Did you guys see? Really? Am I forgetting the movie's name? I did. The movie where he is basically an actor in his own life. The Truman Show. There we go. The Truman Show, I feel, was probably the movie that messed him up the most, in my opinion. I feel like that movie messed me up just watching it. I can't even imagine being the actor in it. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Kira Moore. We all agree to forget just the worst. It's true. Oh man, I'm still behind. Melt. Sonic 2 is fantastic. They honestly do such a good job. It's pretty fun and anime in some spots. My actual one complaint is that I can't stand Jim Carrey as Eggman. He really leans into it, dude. But I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be, right? Like Eggman is kind of a character, ultimately. I like, honestly, personally, I like Jim Carrey as Eggman. Like the way, like at least in the first movie, I really just like the energy that he brings into it, right? It's like a persona. Fun fact for the Grinch, they hired a CIA instructor that taught operatives how to deal with torture to train Jim Carrey so he could go through his makeup. Oh goodness. That's crazy, Corey. Actors are impressive sometimes, man. They are. Like Tom Cruise. Let me hang out of a plane real quick. Like actually, yeah, with no takes off, no biggie, like an actual plane, just like attached with a little rope. That's some bullshit. What the hell? Sunshine for a Spotless Mind was dark. I refuse to watch that movie for that reason, actually. Like, it's one of those movies that I just will not expose myself to because I know it's not going to serve me. And it's also like, spiritual passing or echo chambering myself. But yes, I will echo chamber myself on purpose. My favorite actor as a kid was Robert De Niro. Cape Fear was enthralling to me. Hey, Google, who's Robert De Niro? Who's Robert De Niro? Oh, of course. Robert De Niro is a gangster, dude. Beautiful man. The original and remake of Cape Fear are excellent. It was heart-wrenching. Isaac, he's pretty crazy. Tom Cruise is amazing at what he does, but at some point he has to acknowledge the limitations of his aging body. I think a broken leg delayed the latest Mission Impossible. I had no idea. I mean, even though aging is a thing, Tom Cruise still looks amazing, right? Like that dude is, drinking blood or something. I don't know. I don't know what he does, but I want his tricks. I also want to look like that when I'm in my 60s, when I'm in my 50s. In my 60s? Hey Google, how old is Tom Cruise? How old is Tom Cruise? I think we're gonna have to try it again. Hey Google, how old is Tom Cruise? I'm sorry if I'm activating your Googles as well. Bruh, I'm not asking like rocket science questions. Like it's very simple. And I'm saying it pretty clearly, I hope at least. This is the card for today. Yeah, he's 60. He's an actual 60-year-old man and he still looks fantastic. What a gangster. It's called Filters and yeah, it's true. It's true. Maybe. Kira, it was a broken ankle, I think. He jumped across a rooftop and landed on the side of the building and it just like popped. He climbed up and kept going for the shot. Crazy work for some people. The Majestic was another Jim Carrey drama. Also a decent film. I could also watch Sunshine for a Spotless Mind at one time. I like how I'm competing for attention with movies right now. Like my mind is like keeps getting put into a new fractal every second. Scout's birthday party is hot dog themed. We're having his little girlfriend over and cooking food with the neighbors. That sounds beautiful. He truly does look great though. Have y'all learned much about the Scientology stuff? I know about it, but I'm not too interested. Leia Remy's documentary exposing stuff to me. Yeah, it's concerning, if anything. Harrison Ford out here smashing his pelvis and still acting. I learned that they bullied the IRS into not paying any taxes. Yeah, to consider themselves a religion, right? Because apparently that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, we've pulled a card. Purple card? Card purple? We'll see, Joe. Getting to the end of our stream. Ooh, together. Of course. We are together after all, right? Instead of competing, we should just be together. 1313 in the stream right now. Cards number 14. Odd synchronicity. There's actually 144 on the timestamp right now as well. Some Flower of Life, some Tetra, some Merkaba technically. Two tetrahedrons intersecting one another in the middle. Elderly stoners have a resilience to normal life that's on a whole another level than the rest of us. Wow, Melt. Be speedrunning chat. Dude, I'm not keeping up. My mind feels like it's losing it a little bit right now. But I read every chat though. I felt every fractal. And now we're gonna close off our stream by talking about what it means to be together. Card number 14. You see, look at that tetrahedron intersecting itself. Co-creation and balance. This is co-creation after all. I feel like the balance might be a little bit off, but that's just my egoic self, competing again. I have friends that live in Jackson Hole, and apparently Harrison Ford has been known to rescue people from fires with a helicopter on their roofs. Imagine, that's kind of beautiful. I kind of want to, I shouldn't say shit like that. I wanted to make a joke about getting rescued by Harrison Ford, but I don't know if it's going to be fun to have your house burnt down. Would we pull the fly together card? Yeah, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday we pulled the fly together card, right? Maybe the day before yesterday. So fly together and now just together. Sacred Geometry. What are these cards called? Sacred Geometry. Here's the title. Sacred Geometry Cards for the Visionary Path by Francine Hart. She paints every single one of these and then she attaches a certain kind of meaning. She uses sacred geometry to like act as base. Loved ones, please remember to touch your toes to the earth today. Gotta stay grounded, please do. Kind of what to move there now. Yesterday was me holding up the world. It was true. She was right, actually. Actually, that's card number 4, right? No. 54? No. Here is the one. Gaia Grid. Not all who wander are lost. This is the card we pulled for Connor. There you are. But co-creation and balance. Okay. Freezing outside. Yeah, nobody wants to go outside right now. Uh, Joe, my toes will break clean off if I go outside and touch the earth. Okay. Co-creation and balance. Standing together in an electrified field formed by the flower of life, golden spirals, and specifically inside a star tetrahedron. This couple joins in balance and deliberate co creation. At the dawning of a new era, we have the opportunity, perhaps for the first time in millennia, to shift the absolute paradigm of power over to an emerging vision of power, too. Excuse me. It is certain that the old model is no longer workable. The way of conventional power and greed have brought us to the brink of ruin. However, by mutual intent to co create and bring balance, we will find common ground from which to create an optimistic future. Envision yourself standing in the symbol of co creation and dynamic balance. First, seek your own inner point of equilibrium. Living in balance with male and female aspects within will make it easier to achieve balance when relating to others. Competing, huh? Second, observe the way your intimate relationships are functioning. Are you living in cooperation and respect of the ones that you love? Is there a dynamic give and take to your interactions? Third, consider how you are co creating with colleagues and co workers. It ought to be more than just getting the job done. Finally, look at the way you view the world as a whole and your place therein. Let this card help activate your full participation in shifting paradigms towards unity, oneness, and peace. Whew. To let go of the competing, unity, oneness, and peace. I feel that's the perfect card for today. -5 in Colorado, brr. The cold reminds us we're alive. Kira, from my understanding, that they kind of show themselves. I can get unusually close to wild rabbits before they scamper off. Peach and I were lost in a bush, geo coaching once, and we somehow walked up behind a buck that was munching on some bushes. We were like 6 feet away. We didn't notice us. That sounds so divine, actually. I live in a tropical environment for a reason, but I figure you gotta lean into whatever your environment provides. It's true. Make the most of where it is you are, right? Instead of telling ourselves a victim story, like you can just take off your shoes and stand on your own floor for a few moments, right? That can also be grounding. Just notice that you're sitting on the earth. Ah, yes, gravity, grounded, easy peasy. Do you think about these cards as a microcosm in your life, globally, all of the above? I think of them as reminders, right? That we live in a world that is technically informed by sacred geometry. Sacred geometry, if you think about our world, and it can be explained in mathematics, right? If you visualize that mathematics, it becomes sacred geometry, right? And I like to think of all of this as an expression of that sacred geometry more than just mathematics. Like I'm more a visual person than I am a math person. So in that way, I feel like it's almost like these parts of our world that are ultimately fundamental to its existence come from this a place of almost like showing up and allowing, right? Allowing yourself to see sacred geometry, to see it in our doggos, to see it in your own hands, the golden ratio, your face, right? Your body. You are sacredly geometric. My floors are ice cold. Feel them for a second. Be like, ah, yes, I feel so grounded standing on this cold floor right now. I don't know if I told you, I got this deck for Christmas. You too? I think you have this deck now. Kyle has this deck, and I have this deck. I don't know if more of us have this deck as well. JV, get some fun bear paw slippers. Those look pretty cool, don't they? It can be mini bear yourself. I got lots of slipper socks. There we go. Bear paw slippers are awesome. The joy, the cooler that was cooler than being cool. Your floors. Pippi. Oh, I feel crazy right now. I think, did you just? I'm wearing socks and sneakers, and I can't feel my toes. I'm still cold. Oh goodness. See also golden mean and Dinergy. More synchronicity of sacred geometry. I want to get dragon feet next. I hope people heard the Andre 3000. I have Corey slippers. Like this is, I don't know why, but my mind is not keeping up right now. You friends are like really melting my brain a little bit. Like I have no idea what the hell's happening. I love you. Thank you for joining me, friends. Take a breath. Know that you're going to be okay. That with as much as we compete, we're not done. Replace them with Monty Python bunny slippers. A breath of gratitude for time with you. Thank you, Jovan, sending you that breath as well. I love you. You're like a CSGO squad rushing Mel's mental bomb site. Literally, dude. What the fuck? Dogs are stupid. My cats don't eat my shoes. Pippi has never eaten a single one of my shoes. Have you, you silly girl? Nah, she doesn't want that. Come on. Come on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. What? Mm? You gonna leave me alone? Oh, I'm gonna get you. Oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm so gonna get you. Okay. Funny enough, my cat eats my plants and my dog eats my carpet. It's a joint venture. Fusion high to chaos your world. Cats won't eat shoes. Just throw up in them. Oh my. Thank you, friends. Yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye. We're gonna put the chaos down. Thank you. thank you for the love. What the hell? Did something just poop on me? As I was scratching my head, something wet dropped on my skin. Love you. Thank you for joining me, friends. I appreciate you for everything, right? Chaos and the whole shebang. What is this gathering of mana? Anticipation, right? Togetherness. This is what togetherness does to us, right? We get to intersect multiple different fractals, the fractals that you are, the movies that we've seen, the ways of experiencing, the people we admire, the feelings we have within self and other. Every single time intersecting, more infinity, more infinity, more infinity. Enjoy your day, Melton friends. One step closer to becoming Wizard King. Yes, corporate buzzword for synergy, I guess. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. See you again soon. Goodbye, dear friend. Cheers, cheers. Cheers, cheers.